Hey everyone, Jeremy here, and I just wanted to offer you some encouragement today as you go about your day. And I hope that you are experiencing God's love in an amazing way and that He's using some incredible people to show it to you in your life. Now today, just one of the things that popped on my head, in my heart, was this idea of giving an example to others of God's love in our lives and living a godly example. As a parent, I have plenty of opportunities to do this daily, multiple times a day. Whether or not I choose to capitalize on that is up to me normally. And one of the things that just recently happened this week was I was kind of going through some thoughts, and I was thinking, and I decided that I'm going to take it to the Lord in prayer. And so I'm in my room and I'm kneeling down by my bed and I'm praying, and all of a sudden my 8-year-old walks in and says, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm praying." And she's like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry to interrupt." And I was like, "Oh, it's okay. What do you want?" In the moment, I am thinking, "Oh, how amazing that her dad is getting caught praying, and she can now see this great example of a godly person who's on their knees in the middle of the day praying. How good of me living like God and showing that example." Then she said, "Can I do my nails?" And I was like, "Oh, sure, go do your nails, just. And I go back to praying, so proud of myself that she was seeing me and caught me in the act of this. And not a few seconds later, her little 4-year-old sister comes in and says, "Dad, we have a problem. We need your help." And so I come in and I find, here, let me show you. This was there, and I have this grayish white couch that now has a big lipstick fingernail polish stain. So this stain looks way better now than it did. I spent a good part of an hour taking nail polish remover, Resolve carpet cleaner, OxyClean, and I went underneath and I looked online of how to get rid of nail polish out of fabric, and it looks a lot better than it did. But I didn't know how to respond to this news, and I came out and I didn't yell, I didn't use any choice language. I just kind of sat there like this for I don't know how long, a number of seconds, and understanding that I just saw something that we tried to keep clean. It's newer, it's not an old piece of furniture by any means, and it had a huge stain now that would always be there. And it was, in a sense, you could have made a case that the furniture piece was ruined. And so I had remorseful daughters who were sad, who were trying to explain what happened but couldn't very well. And as I'm sitting there scrubbing, trying to balance out my frustrations but still being a loving dad, I come to the realization that the very thing I wanted to do when I was praying to show them God's love and a godly person in real time, I had an opportunity to really show it, and I wasn't doing very well. I was frustrated, and as I'm sitting there scrubbing this out, I look at my oldest, who was struggling and tearful, and I said, "Look, it's true, I'm a little frustrated, but I will never stop loving you. You are so important to me, and nothing you could ever do could ever make me stop loving you." And this is where it took me to the scriptures. Romans chapter 5, beginning in verse 6. "You see, at just the right time, when we were still powerless, Christ died for the ungodly. See, very rarely will anyone die for a righteous man, though a good man someone might possibly dare to die. But God demonstrates His own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So since we have now been justified by his blood, how much more shall we be saved from God's wrath through him? For if when we were God's enemies, we were reconciled to him through the death of his Son, how much more, having been reconciled, shall we be saved through his life? You see, when we screw up, and we all do, and we all have, and we will continue to, God still loves us. Even though we wreck the furniture of this world that he gave us, even though we mess up and we're careless with our words, our actions, our thoughts, our choices, even though we damage things that he values so much, like you and me and each other, his love for us is not predicated on how good you and I act. It's not determined by whether or not we never screw up. It is because he loved you first. So maybe today, maybe you're looking for an opportunity to show the love of Jesus to someone. Maybe you're looking for an opportunity to demonstrate God's love and God's character. And it doesn't mean that it won't be when you're on your knees praying or reading your Bible or anything like that. But just know that so often we reflect God's love the most when it makes the least sense to us and to others. So, share that love, look for those opportunities, and have a great day.